a gateway to a realm of captivating storytelling and immersive adventures. Join us as we embark on an extraordinary journey through an episodic dark fantasy adventure, where each episode unveils a new chapter of this epic saga, inviting you to witness the harrowing tales of characters thrust into a world of endless dangers, mythical creatures, and potent magic. So, dear adventurer, subscribe to our channel and embark on this extraordinary journey with us. Together, let us navigate the shadows, confront our fears, and discover the light that burns within us all.
Ulrich pleaded with Runa to wake up after they landed on the island, but she would not respond. In a heartfelt plea, Ulrich begged the Jarl to save Runa, who was shivering from the cold sea and had a bleeding leg. The Jarl dismissed Ulrich's request with a laugh, seeing it as foolish. But Ulrich insisted, "I'll do anything to help her. I beg you. Please." Ulrich fell on his knees, crying. The large man stepped in, blocking Ulrich with his battle axe to prevent him from getting too close to the Jarl. Seeing Ulrich's determination, the archer commander sighed and reassured him that they would help Runa regardless. "You brats are what will get us a new ship." Though Ulrich didn't fully grasp the meaning behind her words, he felt grateful for their assistance. Ulrich watched as the archer commander skillfully pulled out the piece of wood and tended to Runa's wounds, using a medicinal herb she kept for herself. Grateful for her care, Ulrich expressed his thanks, but the archer commander gave him an annoyed look, as if he were clueless about the gravity of their situation. Despite the tense atmosphere, Ulrich tried to remain optimistic, offering words of encouragement to Runa. "Don't worry, Runa. We'll get out of here. Just rest for now and tomorrow. I'll think of a way to escape from these Vikings. We all will." The exhausting ordeal took its toll on Ulrich, and he finally succumbed to his weariness, falling asleep next to Runa by the comforting warmth of the fire. His friends watched with concern, knowing the weight of the challenges ahead. They wondered how many of them they might lose on their journey, as the uncertain future loomed before them. After attending to everyone's needs and starting a fire with whatever they could find on the island, the Jarl called upon the archer commander and the large man for a discussion. "Yes, my Jarl," the large man said as they met by the edge of the island. "Have you managed to find a way off this desolate island? Our scouts report that it's too barren for a prolonged stay," the archer commander inquired, concern evident in her voice. "The only option is to swim to the shore," the large man interjected confidently, providing an obvious yet practical solution. "Can you even see the shore? We'd freeze to death before reaching land, or worse, some creature might kill us all," the archer commander retorted, rolling her eyes with a mix of annoyance and frustration. "We could construct a makeshift raft or something," the large commander suggested, clearly missing details the archer commander mentioned earlier. "If you haven't already noticed, this island does not have trees to build a raft, and there are too many of us to fit on one even if we could," the archer commander lamented, feeling the weight of their dire situation pressing down on her. The Jarl interrupted. "Look at the water, how it moves," the Jarl said, with a perplexed expression on his scarred face. The archer commander noticed the water moving around the island instead of settling against it. How strange, is the island moving? The Jarl then assumed what everyone was thinking. This is not an island, but the monster we swam here to escape from. But why hasn't the Kraken attacked us yet? The large man wondered, crouching down for a better look. And where is the monster heading? He then gazed at the dark, watery distance with the moon as his light. "It appears the Kraken hasn't noticed us after it took delight in obliterating our dragon ship," the archer commander scoffed. The large man added a disgusted spit on the floor, wholeheartedly agreeing with her assessment. "We can't feel the monster moving now, but we still need to be cautious, because an attack can still happen," the Jarl mentioned, looking around. The large man brushed off the worry, saying, "As long as it did not notice us, we'll be fine." "Unless the monster decides to submerge," the archer commander said, destroying the large man's ease. "Assign a few men to watch the water level. Let's rest for now. There's no use making a plan so early in the night." The Jarl said Kyoko back to the campfires. The large man and the archer commander exchanged glances filled with concern. The next morning, Runa gently brushed Ulrich's golden hair over his ear, waking him up. Ulrich quickly got up to check on her and make sure she was all right. "Runa, are you okay? Do you need anything?" Ulrich asked with concern, trying to shake off his drowsiness and focus on her well-being. "I'll be fine. Don't worry so much. You've already done so much for me," Runa replied, her gaze filled with overwhelming gratitude as she looked at Ulrich. "Although," she continued with a slight sigh, "I fear I'll have an ugly scar once my leg fully heals." "Oh," Ulrich stammered, unsure of how to respond to Runa's comment about the scar. "My friends told me what you did for me," Runa said, her cheeks flushing crimson on her pale face. As the other children turned their attention to Runa and Ulrich, both of them finally conscious, the girls smiled warmly, their smiles becoming a glimmer of light amidst the darkness that surrounded them. I don't want to lose you. Not after everything we've already lost," Ulrich whispered, his hand gently reaching for hers, causing a flutter of butterflies in Runa's stomach. Behind them, Ulrich's friends cringed with a smile, amazed at how love could still bloom in the bleakest of moments. "Don't worry, you won't lose me. Promise." Runa smiled, holding Ulrich's hand, gazing into his blue eyes. As Ulrich bravely admitted his fear of losing her, Runa's heart swelled with emotion, and she found solace in his words. Feeling the depth of their connection, she leaned in and planted a gentle kiss on his lips. Ulrich blushed intensely, his ears burning with embarrassment, as all his friends erupted into laughter at his adorable expression. In the midst of their precarious situation, the crewman reported a significant change in the water level to the Jarl. Sensing the urgency, the Jarl deduced that the Kraken might be nearing the shore. With a mix of anxiety and hope, he hurried to the edge of the island, desperate to confirm what his crewman had observed. As he peered past the vast sea, his eyes met the distant shoreline, and a wave of relief washed over him. The sight of land filled the Jarl with a glimmer of hope. This could be their sole opportunity to escape the mercy of the Kraken and return to safety. With newfound determination, the Jarl wasted no time and called upon his crewmen, informed the archer Skipari and the large man the steersman to gather the hollowmen by the fire. The situation demanded swift action, and they had to make the most of this chance. They knew they had to seize the moment and embark on their daring escape from the monstrous Kraken, so the crewman informed the archer commander and the large man to gather the crew and meet by the fire. Interrupting the tender moment, the large man intervened. "Everyone hold your tongues, for the Jarl has something urgent to share." The Jarl was about to talk until the large man added, "About this island actually being the head of the Kraken." Everyone stood silent in a gasp. Jarl rubbed his temples, wanting to say that, but more discreetly. Everyone shares their concerns amongst themselves. "Silence!" the Jarl shouted, getting everyone's attention. "I know our situation," the Jarl said with his palm up. "However, luckily the gods are on our side, and the monster had not submerged while we slept." Everyone exchanged horrified glances, never knowing that was a possible outcome. "The mainland is visible, and we will have to swim, so brace yourself." The large man then gave Ulrich a look that made him uneasy. The mention of swimming left everyone, from the children to the Vikings, exchanging nervous glances. The Jarl stepped in, pulling the large man to the side by his shoulder. "I think you said more than enough," the Jarl said, giving the large man an annoyed look. He turned and faced all the nervous faces before him. The Kraken has eyes underwater and can only focus on what lies on the water from afar, like our ships. "And us, when we were swimming to the island," the large man added, making everyone even more uncomfortable. The archer commander swiftly delivered a sharp slap to the back of the large man's head, silencing him instantly. Her actions spoke volumes of her frustration with his insensitive remarks, and her stern expression made it clear that she would not tolerate any more thoughtless comments. In short, We'll assign one person to distract the monster, while the rest of us will swim to shore through the path opened for us. We must work together because we don't know what awaits us between here and the shore." Jarl's words weighed heavily on everyone, causing a momentary loss of faith in their chances. A heavy silence enveloped the group, but Jarl's stoic expression inspired the Vikings to cheer and rally against the challenges that lay ahead. If their leader remained undaunted, they should not fear either. The group quickly sprung into action, each member scattering across the campsite to prepare for the daring plan that lay ahead. Despite the uncertainty and danger, the determination to survive and triumph united them in a common purpose. "Ulrich, you will be distracting the Kraken. You'll need this." The Jarl gave Ulrich a dagger and walked away. "What? Why me?" Ulrich protested, voicing his discontent with the idea of being the one to distract the monster. "No, he's not doing this," Runa protested vehemently, unwilling to accept the plan that put Ulrich in harm's way. Her voice carried a mix of concern and determination as she stood firmly against the idea. The Jarl turned Ulrich's head to face Runa. "You said you'd do anything if we saved her. Are you going back on your word?" Jarl asked with a slight annoyance in his tone. Ulrich noticed the large man behind Runa with his battle-axe in hand and a bloodthirsty grin on his face. Ulrich's body shivers in fear. Okay, I'll do it. I'll keep my word," Ulrich said as the large man nodded with approval of his decision. "But what about the promise you made me?" Runa complained, clutching Ulrich's hand tightly. Her words carried a hint of sadness, reminding him of the vow they had made to protect each other no matter the circumstances. I know, Ulrich's mind raced, trying to come up with a plan that would keep his promise to Runa. "I'll find a way to reach the shore, I promise," he reassured her with determination in his eyes. "Don't promise if you can't keep it," Runa snapped, her voice tinged with frustration and worry. She didn't want Ulrich to make empty assurances, knowing the danger they faced. Ulrich glanced at her nervously, unsure of how to respond, until the archer commander intervened and pulled Runa away from the intense moment. Fear gripped Ulrich as he prepared to face the monstrous Kraken. Ulrich stood behind, seeing the Vikings, their leaders and all the children heading to the edge of the island, which was really the head of the very large monster. Knowing this made Ulrich even more nervous. Ulrich's mind raced as he searched for a way to distract the Kraken. As he explored the island, he noticed a soft spot in a crack on the ground, and a sudden realization struck him. The Kraken's head must be like a colossal shell. Determination filled his heart as he decided to use this newfound knowledge to his advantage. With a surge of bravery, he stabbed the soft spot with the dagger the Jarl gave him, hoping to draw the Kraken's attention away from his friends. In an instant, the Kraken's massive tentacles emerged from the water like many kilometers-high pillars, its 8 menacing tentacles thrashing furiously. Ulrich's heart pounded with both fear and courage as the monstrous creature turned its focus towards him, leaving his companions a chance to escape. With his life on the line, Ulrich bravely faced the Kraken's wrath, holding on to the dagger for dear life as the attacks of the colossal tentacles thrashed all around him. His friends, swimming frantically for their lives, were caught in a torrent of bubbles and waves caused by the Kraken's enraged roar, echoing beneath the water's surface. Amidst the chaos, Runa couldn't help but glance back, searching for a glimpse of Ulrich. However, the swirling waters made it impossible to see him. The archer commander jerked Runa around to focus. "Swim or die, little girl." Her words reminded Runa that they needed to stay together if they were to have any hope of overcoming the treacherous swim. As the adrenaline surged through their veins, the group fought to stay together and reach safety, knowing that Ulrich's brave sacrifice had bought them precious time. As the Kraken's massive tentacles thrashed violently, sweeping across the island in a relentless search for Ulrich, fear surged through his veins. His heart pounded loudly in his chest as he clung tightly to the hilt of his dagger, the adrenaline pumping through him. In a desperate bid to defend himself and distract the monstrous creature, Ulrich's instincts took over, and he unintentionally twisted the dagger into the kraken's head. The action surprised even him, but he knew he had to keep the creature's attention away from the others. He braced himself for the kraken's response, fully aware of the perilous situation he had placed himself in. Meanwhile, the Jarl, sensing the increasing commotion, turned around to investigate the cause of the intense waves. To his horror, he witnessed the kraken's horrifying face emerge from the water, a visage of death itself. The realization of the danger they were in washed over him, and he knew they had to act quickly to survive. Without a moment's hesitation, the kraken submerged with tremendous force, causing a colossal wave to surge towards them. The Jarl's voice boomed with urgency as he shouted for everyone to hold on to something, bracing for the impending impact. The people scrambled to find anything they could cling to: debris, ice sheets, anything that might help them stay afloat. The colossal wave crashed upon them, sweeping them along its tumultuous path towards the shore. The force was immense, threatening to engulf them all. Yet their determination and will to survive compelled them to hold on tightly, united in their struggle against the relentless power of the kraken and the unforgiving ocean. As Ulrich floated on the icy water, his mind drifted to the memories of his past, the cherished moments with his mother and father. The weight of his journey and the perilous situation overwhelmed him, and tears streamed down his cheeks as he longed for the comfort and warmth of his family. As he glanced towards the distant shoreline, the realization hit him. He was too far from safety, and exhaustion engulfed him. "I'm sorry, Runa." A sense of hopelessness washed over Ulrich, and he felt as though he wouldn't be able to make it back to shore. His memories took him to the lanterns and how Runa picked him to be her husband for the Lantern Festival this summer. "I wish," Ulrich managed to say as his eyes slowly closed. In that moment of despair, a sudden alertness surged through his entire being. Ulrich's senses heightened, and he knew something was drawing closer. As he looked down into the icy depths, a chilling sight met his eyes. A colossal tentacle with numerous sharp fangs rushed towards him with terrifying speed. Realizing that he was face to face with the kraken's deadly appendage, Ulrich closed his eyes, bracing for the inevitable impact. His heart pounded in his chest, and a mix of fear and acceptance washed over him. In the face of imminent danger, he found a fleeting sense of peace, knowing that his fate was beyond his control. The group of children and Vikings fought against the biting cold of the icy sea and relentless waves that kept coming. Fear gripped Runa's heart as she worried about Ulrich's fate. As they swam, the waters eventually calmed, and a temporary sense of relief washed over them. The large man, carrying 3 children on his back, encouraged everyone to keep going, urging them not to stop. Suddenly, the water beneath them started churning, and an ominous presence lurked below. Vikings were pulled down one after another, leaving the children to fend for themselves. Panic spread among the group as they witnessed their comrades disappearing beneath the surface. In the face of danger, the fearless Jarl took action. He swiftly turned to confront the monster that had been antagonizing them before, his dagger finding its mark in the Fossagrim's chest. To everyone's surprise, the Fossagrim's body liquefied and distorted, pulling the dagger away from the Jarl's grip, then dragging the Jarl and the child he was helping down with him. A fierce battle unfolded beneath the icy depths as the Jarl fought valiantly against the water spirit. With determination, he managed to free the child and continued to fend off another threat with the blade behind his ankle. Swiftly slicing the water spirit's hands, he struggled back to the surface, gasping for precious air. His commanding voice echoed over the water, urging everyone to swim faster. The large man carried the child the Jarl had saved, while the other children clung to him for safety. Despite the Fossagrim's relentless assault, the large man remained resolute, powering through like an unstoppable force. Meanwhile, Runa noticed the archer commander frantically searching for the other children who had gone under. Sensing an opportunity, she took the chance to return and search for Ulrich, determined to find him amidst the chaos. Runa's body shivered uncontrollably as she swam through the frigid waters, each stroke becoming more arduous than the last. Desperate, she called upon the Valkyries, hoping for their divine aid to help her. It was then that she spotted a lifeless figure floating in the water. Fear and sorrow gripped her heart as she approached the motionless body. Her arms pushed through the chilling sea, tainted with crimson blood, until she reached Ulrich's still form. Panic set in when she saw the 2 large puncture wounds on his chest, and his unnaturally pale skin left her heartbroken. Tears streamed down her face, but as she felt his chest rising and falling, a glimmer of hope surged within her. Summoning every ounce of strength, Runa swam back, clutching Ulrich tightly to her. Despite her best efforts, the shore seemed impossibly distant. The strain on her body was overwhelming, and her leg that had a wood inside yesterday cramped, impeding her progress. Determined, she kicked with one leg until it's cramped as well. Faced with the current's resistance, Runa's resolve wavered, and the thought of giving up crossed her mind. In her darkest moment, memories of her father's selfless sacrifice to protect their family flooded her mind. Just like he loved them, she loved Ulrich, and couldn't bear the thought of losing him. Summoning every ounce of willpower, she swam forward, pulling him with one arm while using the other to propel herself onward. But the freezing waters sapped her strength, numbing her body to the core. Runa's eyes grew heavy, and she felt herself slipping into darkness. As she closed her eyes, the world around her changed, and she found herself by a crackling fire, surrounded by the children and Vikings. Ulrich lay unconscious beside her, bringing a mix of relief and worry. The scene felt surreal, like a dream blending reality and imagination. But as her strength waned, Runa's eyes closed. Explore Mythtastical World, our Etsy store filled with enchanting merchandise inspired by the magical realm of fantasy. Discover delightful products celebrating mythical creatures, epic adventures, and fantastical landscapes. Head to the description section for the link and other links. Embark on a journey of imagination with our whimsical creations.